What's going on, everyone? Welcome to your pre-match build-up for Manchester United versus Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, also known as Pontins, where kids get the buckets and spades out and they can build sandcastles. Hopefully, we're going to absolutely smash them. But predicting how United have been playing recently, it's almost impossible to predict a United game, and I've almost given up with it. But yet again, we have another injury to the team. The obvious headlines is that Antony is injured and he's out and he's not a part of the squad. Now, a lot of people will probably say, well, he weren't going to start anyway. But he's been actually relatively good in the past couple of games, so maybe he would have got a start, but he certainly would have featured off the bench anyway. So he's not available, so we pick up another injury, which probably kind of tots the full stats to about 60-odd injuries this season so far. But this, like I said, this is United. This is what happens. As you can see, if you are on TikTok, or even if you're on YouTube as well, the starting lineup, we have Andre Onana in net. We've got Diego Dalot at right back. We have Kambwala starting again alongside Harry Maguire. We have Aaron Wan-Bissaka at left back. Moving into the midfield, we have Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno, which has been a regular feature for us. And then we have Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side. I'll go through the sub-bench very, very shortly. But how do we all feel about that team? Do we feel like we can get the job done? Do we feel slightly nervous? Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, there wasn't going to be many changes from it because we know, first and foremost, none of our left-backs are fit, so Wan-Bissaka was definitely going to start there. We know none of our centre-backs are fit, so Maguire and Kambwala, we're going to start together again. Same thing with right-back, you know, because the only other right-back we have is playing at left-back. Onana's a given. The midfield was a given. Maybe people might think, you know, maybe it could have been Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno, but he's gone with Casemiro again in there, who I'm sure is going to be dragged left, right and centre with all the space that he's got to cover. Likewise with Bruno Fernandes, with Kobbie Mainoo as well. And then the front three, again, apart from Antony, which none of us expected to be injured, but is also as well becoming a little bit weird how he's been injured quite a bit, Antony. But I agree with Mark forward there who's saying Mount should be starting. He should be starting. I absolutely agree with that. Rasmus Højlund again, because he's the only striker that we've got, and then Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side, because Marcus Rashford always plays regardless of his form. So, yeah, he's been quiet recently as well. Hi, bro, should I sell Rashford and Mount in my new career mode? It depends, mate. I don't know. Completely up to you. Reflection on the last game, because that's the kind of elephant in the room, if you will. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Seems like ages ago now, and I was having a look at the stats from it. First and foremost, we was completely off it anyway, so you don't need stats to tell you that. But they had 10 shots in that game, which, considering how games have been going recently, that's not a lot. 31% possession as well. Solanke was flying at the time. He's still doing relatively good now. He's in the race for the Golden Boot. He was unbeaten in 5, like recently I'm talking about, until the most recent game against Luton, which they lost 2-1. So they're in decent form. They're not just, oh, it's Bournemouth, that's it. Like, that's not how we should treat this game, because they could very easily beat us today, especially at home. I think Solanke's on 16 goals this season. A different kind of test, I would probably say, for Kambwala. I know, obviously, in the Chelsea game, he was against like a couple, not Chelsea game, sorry, in the Liverpool game, he was up against like a Darwin Núñez, for example. Solanke's a different striker to Núñez. Núñez more of a pacey threat, dribbling threat, you know, in behind kind of striker. Solanke's more physical, decent in the air, so it's going to be a decent test. But I probably think Maguire and Kambwala should have the ingredients to deal with him. But I don't know, Bournemouth have other threats as well. It's not just Solanke. I like the Semenyo. I like Tavernier as well. I think Tavernier is a decent player. But yeah, they've got a couple of threats. I think for us specifically today, the midfield, I mean, Casemiro has to step up, has to take authority of this game and step up, because he's been absolutely shocking all season. His legs have fell off. I keep saying that he'll be in the new Jurassic Park because he's a dinosaur. Kobbie Mainoo's been, you know, one of our ones to watch. Garnacho's been one of our ones to watch. Højlund needs service. If we're going to score goals, you need to provide Rasmus Højlund with the ball from a creative sense. So Bruno Fernandes equally as well. But it's all good and well saying, like, we need to do this and we need to do that. But we haven't been doing it all season. That has been the issue with this team. Let me just sort this image out one thing, because it's really bugging, man. It's probably bugging a lot of other people. What's going on there? Let's sort that out. Sorry, just 2 seconds, guys, because that is really annoying me. I could just see a gap at the top. That'll do, fuck it. You know when someone's just bugging you in the corner, and you just like, you can't. There we go. That should do. Sorry about that, people. Can't remember what I was talking about now, but I'll just read a couple of comments out. Lucky Singh saying Harry Maguire, Varane need to jump today. Strong defence. Well, there's no Varane on the pitch, so he can't do that. Can't go one game without an injury, says Rayanator. What's happened to Antony now? They'll stick Solanke on Camboire. This will be a test for them. And Ahmad all day should have gone over Rashford for work rate. Again, this has kind of been another thing that a lot of people have been talking about. Ahmad deserving a start. We've also got Ethan Wheatley, who's in the team, who's a youngster. I have to admit, I haven't seen a lot of him, but he's on the bench. We've got Amas as well, who's a youngster, I think 16 years old, left back, who's on the bench. You've got Ericsson, you've got Agini, who's a young right back on the bench. Mason Mount, 24. Amari Forson, who's another youngster who's been promoted on there. You've got Ahmad, and then you've got Amrabat. So really kind of mixture of players on the bench. No obvious threats to bring on. I mean, Mount, Ahmad, maybe Ericsson, but Ericsson is barely getting a sniff nowadays. So, yeah. Another point to make out as well, Alejandro Garnacho starting his 30th consecutive United game today. One who hasn't picked up an injury yet. I don't want to, rock the boat there, but, yeah. I'm just going to double check all the other scores in the game. In fact, let me go through Bournemouth's team first, and then I want to go through the other teams and see what's going on. Obviously, we've had Spurs who dropped points today, so I want to discuss the Champions League places, etc. Neto, Kirkes, Cook, Solanke, Christie, Dango, Smith, Sinistero, Kluivert, Sensei, Zabiani. Kluivert's a nice little clever player. You've got Solanke who's doing well as well. No Tavernier. Is Tavernier injured? Injured. So that's for anyone who's interested in Bournemouth's lineup. That's who they're going with. Mount deserves a start as well at some point. Bruno saved his skin. Yeah, he does. Mount, I would push more, to be honest with you. I think Marcus Rashford is very lucky to be starting when Mount and Ahmad are chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. So maybe it's a thing with Mount that it's more of the point that, he just doesn't want to give him a full 90 yet, because the way we've been bringing players back recently, they've just been getting injured like that. Maybe it has something to do with that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Let me pull the other games up. See what the live results, and then I'll get back into the United games. I do want to discuss that. I'm guessing City's winning. That's just like an obvious one, isn't it? Yeah, 3-1. Brentford are winning 1-0. Forest 2-2. Burnley 1-1. Interesting. Who scored for City? Haaland penalty, Kovacic, and then an own goal, and Ross Barkley scores for Luke. Ross Barkley's had a fantastic season. Brentford 1-0 due to an own goal. Forest looks like a feisty game. Gibbs White, Danilo, Matthias Cunha scored twice. And then Josh Brownhill and Muric scores for Brighton and Burnley. Not a lot of blockbuster games today, it has to be said. I mean, the Spurs and Newcastle game is really, really good. But 3 o'clock kickoffs, and then even United versus Bournemouth isn't, mad. Magnus Kemp says Rashford is a lazy player, such talent, but not mentally strong enough, in my opinion. Yeah, I'd probably go with that. JH Fishing says, how's it going, Nick? I'm good, man. I hope you're well. Let me know your score predictions for the game, how you see this game kind of playing out, because almost, like I said, it's almost impossible to kind of predict these games. Champions League football, though, was something that I wanted to discuss. Spurs dropped points today. Newcastle actually went ahead of us in the table today, so we're currently sitting in 7th in the Premier League table. Villa play Arsenal at the Emirates tomorrow, so if we win our game in hand as well, we could end up, I think it's 5 points behind Villa. If, like I said, big if we win our game in hand, and even if we win the game today, so it's almost pointless talking about it the way United have been playing recently. But it's there. If we would have done our jobs against Brentford, which, we could have come away with one of the worst robberies ever. There probably would have been a petition to get the points back. But, if we would have just done our job against Brentford, held the lead, done our job against Chelsea, and not conceded 2 within 2 minutes, and then you look at the Fulham game as well, where we just put in an abysmal display, we would probably be sat there, that's an extra, 9 points or whatever. We'd probably be sat there, we would be sat there in the Champions League points looking at it saying, yeah, we've got a real opportunity at this. But the players have fucked it up for themselves, so it is what it is, unfortunately, in that point. But if you want a glimmer of hope, and if you want if you expect Spurs or Villa to massively drop off, then, you've got to be there waiting, haven't you? You've got to be there to pounce, so it's really important we get the points today. Daniel saying, in my opinion, I think we should play Mount over Casemiro. Again, you're not the only one, mate. I think quite a few people feel like that. Just a couple of stats here for you people. Manchester United have won 4 of their 6 Premier League away games against Bournemouth, losing the other 2 in December 2015 2-1 and November 2019 1-0. So, yeah, 4 years ago there. Bournemouth have won each of their last 3 Premier League home games. They have never won 4 in a row at home in the top flight before. Time for United to step up. Despite coming into this round of games in 6th place in the Premier League table, only bottom side Sheffield United, 560, have faced more shots than Manchester United in the Premier League this season. 554 shots Man United have conceded this season. 554. That is mental. We also have the 3rd highest expected goals against, which is 58.2. That is mad, isn't it? That is absolutely mad. So, yeah, you know what's going to happen. I mean, even if you're a betting man, just put Bournemouth to have a shitload of shots. Or shitloads of shots on target, because it's going to happen. Unless we, drastically change our game plan and being a little bit more pragmatic and keeping hold of the ball a bit more, which I seriously doubt, then, yeah, it's going to be an end-to-end game again. Probably going to be one where you sat there on the edge. It's 2-1 to us. Or 3-2 towards the 90th minute, and then Bournemouth equalising it in a bit of a mad game. Is that out of the realms of possibility? No, it's not. Bournemouth win for Toon, top 6, says Mr. B. Anything can happen. What's that song? Is it Ellie Goulding? Anything can happen. Do, 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 do. I don't know if it is Ellie Goulding or not. But, yeah, anything can happen. I want to discuss Bournemouth a little bit. Managed by Antony. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Spanish coach, really getting the best out of Solanke. They're currently 12th, 8 points behind us. Here's another mad stat, if you want one. If Bournemouth win today, they go 5 points behind us. 5. Almost a win and a draw in terms of mirrored comparison for the league. If Bournemouth win today, they will go 5 points behind us, which is just mental. They've lost 4 of their last 10, but they have played teams majority near the bottom. So you're talking your Burnleys and Sheffield and teams like that. So again, there's more context to that. In the last game, they lined up with Neto, Smith, Zabiane, Kelly, Kirkes, Cook, Christie, Tavernier, Clivert, Semenyo, and Solanke. So there's been a couple of changes for them, but no changes for us at all. If we're talking style of play, how Bournemouth kind of have switched their play up from how they did under Gary O'Neill. They're still excellent in transitions, but the style's more kind of coherent, based around aggressive pressing and playing with a high line. Iraola, which is a quote I picked up, that he explained in pre-season, he said, we'll play a little bit higher up the pitch as much as we can. We have the work rate, especially from our front players. They can sustain the press, make us play high, so they're closer when we regain possession to their goal. He also remains certain that, this style would work despite, the start of the season. It was kind of, they were leaky and they weren't kind of pressing with cohesion, which United fans can kind of relate to because we have them issues as well. But now they've kind of started to get a bit of cohesion. Now they're starting to play as a team, and they've got some decent results. And I think they've done well, to be fair, because when you look at the team, you're like, that's a relegation team. Apart from Solanke, who's done really, really well. You look at their side and you're like, it's relegation fodder, innit, really? So I think the coach has done a tremendous job there. And doesn't kind of get the credit that he should do. But, yeah, hey-ho. Dean Walker says, where is Antony? He's injured. So, yeah, another injury there to kind of put onto the list. And also another injury for Antony, who's picked up quite a few since he signed for United. Another thing that goes under the radar, maybe that's a reoccurring theme for this show. But, yeah, Antony is injured, so he's not a part of the squad. He's not on the bench, and he won't feature in today's game. Boom says, who would you replace Casemiro with? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I like Amadou Onana at Everton. I think he's combative, can take the ball under pressure. Physically, decent in duels. A threat in both boxes in terms of, defensively and offensively, which we definitely need. Athletic, yeah, I think he's really, really good. I think him alongside Kobe Manu in particular would really complement him. But I don't know. I don't think the links are that strong with it. I don't think it's going to be an obvious player, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be maybe someone who they scouted or yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But one thing is for sure, yeah, Casemiro is done. He's done out here. But we look at the contract that we've given him. He's got a big contract. He's on £300,000 a week. I don't think he's going to be that eager to move, to be honest. So I think he might be sticking around. United will probably want to get rid of him. It just depends on what kind of offers, or if any offers come from Saudi, doesn't it, I suppose. So, yeah. Make sure you do get your comments in. Do leave a like on the TikTok. Keep smashing that like button if you can. And smash a like on the YouTube video as well, because I am live on both. And if you want to subscribe to Real Reds Talk, again, for the people in TikTok, the link is in the description. So make sure you come and check our YouTube channel out. We're live every single day. Live at 12 o'clock for a news show, which I'll have today. We do FIFA streams as well. And then we have pre-match and post-match. So I'm going to be live with Sam, Adam, and Dan, I think, who's on. The lads are on the post-match analysis, which should be a bit of fun, so make sure you come and join us for that. But just me, myself, and Irene today. So I need you guys to interact and get involved in the comment section and be a part of the show with me. Romano has said Martial's 100% leaving. Yeah, I did that. Like I said, I did the news show today. I've spoken about Martial, Greenwood, Ineos, Ashworth, all the updates on that. So check that out if you haven't seen that. But yeah, I discussed Martial today. It's just crazy. It's absolutely mental that he's almost been here a decade at United. Martial, madness, utter madness. Casemiro can only help with the development of Mainu, just a bit of a wage decrease and keep him. I get what you're saying, but Ineos won't be looking at it like that. They'll be looking at the books and be like, he's on £300,000 a week. You can't have a player as a bit part on that amount, like on that much money. You just can't keep him there just because he's teaching Mainu or whatever. To be honest with you, Mainu's playing better than Casemiro at the minute. And he has been since he's come in the team. You know what I mean? He's telling Casemiro what to do, from what I can see. Jack Lester says, Cambuala, yeah, looking forward to it. He had a really good game against Liverpool. Thought he was fantastic. Didn't get the flowers that he should have done. And again, it's one of those in it where you don't really want to hype up a player too much and get overzealous and overconfident with it. But I'm sorry, against Liverpool, he's fantastic. Won all of his duels, was decent on the ball, made the right decisions, was good in the air. He's got a good head on his shoulders from what you understand and what you read about him. Seems a very focused, devoted individual, and I've been mega impressed with him. Thought Cambuala's fantastic in the last game. E-Man says, think there's a chance if we're 3-0 up, we could see Hamas. Maybe. It's a bit of a weird sub to make, though, isn't it? I think. I don't know. It just depends on the kind of theme of the game. If we're battering them, then I suppose. I think it's more for these kind of players to get experience just being with the first team. Ones that I've already mentioned, I'll go through the the subs bench again if I can pull it up here, because there's quite a few youngsters on there. It's not just Singer. So we've got Hamas, who's on there, 16, 17. Ogini, who's again a right back. Forson, Ahmad, Wheatley, like a lot of youngsters on the bench, so it's great experience for them. But if you're looking to bring someone on, it's probably going to be more likely going to be Amrabat, Amrabat, Mount, maybe Ericsson, maybe Ahmad. But he definitely deserves an opportunity in it. Like, you can't say he doesn't. 100% deserves an opportunity, but for whatever reason, Ten Hag just hasn't been consistently playing him. Don't get it. Really don't get it. But there is actually a couple of quotes here from Ten Hag which I want to read out. Let's get it up. 1 second. In fact, there's a little stat there. Man United have 8 academy graduates in their matchday squad against Bournemouth. That's 4,252 consecutive first-team games and counting. There's another stat for you, for all you stat lovers. Ten Hag, if you look back at the last 3 games in 1 week where we dropped in stoppage time 7 points, then we are very close. So that is still in if you believe in UCL qualification, but you have to win your games. It starts with belief, win your games, and then we'll see. Bournemouth, bring problems to every team in the Premier League. We've seen it. It's a difficult team to play against. And if United are out for it today, this isn't Ten Hag saying it, if United are out for it today, they're going to get battered. They will. Bournemouth they'll be smelling blood. They'll be looking at this and be like, look, this team who's got all these great players, or supposedly great players, they've gone into games against Brentford, against Fulham, and they've looked like the less superior team. So there's no reason why Bournemouth won't sit there in that dressing room today looking at this United squad thinking, we've got an opportunity here to go put one over United. Twice in a season. Twice. Mad. I'm not swearing at you, I'm just saying twice. Thank you for the follow. Please do keep smashing that like button on the TikTok. Let's get more people involved in this chat and see what United fans, Bournemouth fans, if there are any. Really scared about this transfer window. I'm sure Ineos won't spend much money at all. Yeah. Interesting one, isn't it, with Ineos in this summer. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they go about it. I think it's definitely going to be a lot more measured in our approach. There's going to be no more £85 million Antony spends or 60 million quid on Di Maria or any kind of 60 million on your Casemiros. I think it's going to be a lot more measured. I think it's going to be maybe even tapping into the free market at certain points. I think they're going to really, really be detailed in this. And that's why Dan Ashworth has such a reputation, because he is a very detailed man. He's methodical in what he does. The reason why he's got a reputation, because he's good at his job. And we've got Jason Wilcox coming in, who did a great job whilst he was at City, bringing through players like Foden and Oscar Bob and Cole Palmer and these kind of guys, who has a good relationship with Omar Barada as well, who's coming in as a new CEO, taking a step up. And then you have, obviously, Dan Ashworth, who's going to be kind of managing the football operations. But there's a bit of... I think it's looking like it's going to be solved anyway, the kind of compensation fee that we're paying Newcastle to get him. And they've been a bit stubborn with it, but you kind of expect them to in that sense. I remember United when Newcastle went in for Jesse Lingard, and we asked for like a 15 million quid loan fee or something. So you're going to get stung, aren't you, when you're going back in for stuff like this. I know it's different to when you're buying a player, but you know what I mean. I don't blame him. Ross Barkley linked with United made me laugh. It does, because if you would have said this like a year ago, everyone would have said shut the fuck up. But if you've actually watched Ross Barkley for Luton this season, he's been really good. Like really, really good. Like almost to a level you like maybe taken to the Euros. Because he's better than Gallagher. He's definitely been better than Gallagher. He's better than Jordan Henderson. You know, he should be at least an option, I think, on the bench. Maybe not start, but he's been really good. Just because he plays for Luton, I don't think we should kind of look down on our noses at him and say, ugh. But for United, I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on him. Get your score predictions in, please, whether you're in the YouTube chat. Ghost the Dog Samurai says, where's Antony? He's injured. He's not available. I don't know what injury it is. I was just trying to look it up now and find out what he's actually done. But I don't think anyone's asked Ten Hag about it. He has been asked about an unchanged 11, though. He said, I think the second half last week was a good performance, a very good draw against Liverpool, and I think we could have won as well. That's why he's gone with an unchanged. Well, it's not reason why he's gone. It's not why he's gone with an unchanged team. It's because it's because we've got no one, really. Absolutely no one. Yeah, I don't know what prediction I want to go with, score prediction. I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll give mine. I want to see what the general consensus is, what everyone's thinking. Also, where's my bottle of water? So, yeah, I'll just get a quick swig of this bottle of water whilst you guys get your score predictions in. And I'll... don't just give us a score prediction, though. Let us know how you see the game playing out, what key battles you see, individuals you think perform well. Thank you for liking the stream as well. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all for joining me. Could be watching the coverage, but you sat... Well, maybe you are watching the coverage as well. I don't know. But you sat with myself as well. Not really sure, but definitely not Barkley. I don't mind Barkley. I don't know why there's hate for Barkley in the chat. I don't mind him at all. YouTube, what are we saying? True Cushman says 3-1 United. I like the positivity. Shreyas with bringing it down a level a little bit, saying 2-2. I could definitely see that. 2-2. Yeah, I think I might go with that. It's Sam. Big up, it's Sam, by the way. 4-1 United. Okay. People feeling positive. Do you guys have a short memory? Is the question. I think it's going to be a tough game, to be honest with you. I do. I think it's going to be a lot of shots either side, a lot of goals either side. Maybe, I think 2-2. A penalty. I could see a penalty. Shreyas just said, Antony's our 52nd injury this season. Mad. Utter madness in it at this point. Wouldn't you rather bring another player through the academy instead? What midfielders do we have, though, who's ready to step up? Obviously, Cobby's come in and done really well, but at some point you need experience as well. Eamon says he's the 65th. I think is that including absences and illnesses and stuff like that? It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. This season has just been utterly cursed with whether you want to talk. This sounds like I've got my violin out here, and obviously any rival fans who are going to be in the chat are going to say, "Oh, shut up, we've done this and we've done that." But if you look at the injuries we've had this season, if you look at the amount of decisions that have gone against us, even in the most recent one, that Liverpool one was not a penalty. The Dalot one was harsh, and there's been the Garnacho VAR at Arsenal. Like, there's been loads, absolutely loads that have been really harsh that have gone against us, and we've hardly got any as well. On the flip side of things, so this whole season, with whichever angle you want to look at it from, we've been really unlucky, really unlucky. And that's why I think there is context to the argument when you talk about Erik ten Hag and his future and stuff that's going on. So, yeah. I think we're going to do well today. 3-1, Garnacho, 2 goals. I hope so. Jake. I hope you're right. But I'm going to go with Shreyas. I agree with my brother. I'm going to say 2-2. I think probably a penalty in there, Bruno Fernandes penalty or something, and we'll probably take the lead and we'll probably concede later on, because I can't go with anything other than that, simply because I watch this team week in, week out. I know what we're capable of, and I also know what we're capable of not doing, and that's keeping leads and having the right mentality going into play, into games. Boom says 11 players set to leave. Who do you think they are? I can tell you right now who they are. Rafael Varane, Maguire or Lindelof, I would say. Amrabat's definitely going back. Casemiro, potentially. Antony Martial. How many is that? 5 or 6? Something like that. Wan-Bissaka could be sold. I think. Bayinde, I'm not sure what's going on with him. Forgot he existed. Eriksen, definitely going to move on. Maybe a couple of others. A couple of surprises. But are they really going to move on that many in the summer? You know what I mean? Where even is Martial? Answers on a postcard, please. Answers on a postcard, please. I did put a poll up at the start of the show on YouTube, which I'm live on at the moment. If you want to come and join me, the link is in the description on TikTok. Saying who will score the first goal. 22% said Garnacho, 33% said Solanke, 22% said Højlund, and 22% said other as well. So quite even in that regard. And it's just gone to 30-30 now, with Solanke on 30% and Højlund on 30% as well. So, yeah, a lot of people feeling. I'm going to put a cheeky bet on. I'm not going to say what my bet is. Or should I? Should I put it on? I don't know yet. I need to have a look at a couple of the odds and stuff. How would you like to see them players replace with youth, or just buy 11 new? A bit of both. To be honest. Like, for example, if without Kobe coming into the team, you're probably looking at position, because we wanted Frenkie de Jong or someone like that. We've probably saved 60 to 70 million quid alone with him coming in, probably more, because he does look like a generational talent. Likewise, I wouldn't say the same for Camboirlo, but if Camboirlo keeps the performances up that he's been doing, and he's able to repeat that and stay consistent with that, then he's another one where you're probably going to save a bit of money, and rather than buying 2 centre-backs, you can bring it in. So I think it's going to be a blend of both. I think they're going to promote from within at the academy. So Harry Amas, for example. And then I also think they're going to go out and be diligent in the market in terms of buying like Amadou Onana or Jared Branthwaite, or basically Everton's players. But I agree, Eamon, Camboirlo and Martinez could be good for the future. Yeah, but again, it's a long way off, because Camboirlo's played 4 or 5 games for us. You know, Lissandro's been injured for the majority of the season. You don't know. There's a lot of ifs and buts kind of going into it. Yeah. Newcastle might cement 6 if we don't turn up today. Højlund has had 1 shot in the past 5 games. I'm mad, innit? The service, or the lack of service, is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Thing is, though, Rasmus, yeah, he'll get shit, because if he doesn't do something in the game, and people will call his performances really, really bad. If you understand the attacking line and the striker game, you know he is being deprived of service and being deprived of crosses into the box. And our wingers are too selfish for him. Bruno isn't disciplined enough to stay close enough to the striker. He's busy fucking tracking back at left back. Like, he's got no pressing discipline. He's all over the place. He's very erratic in his approach. Whereas Ødegaard, you see that constant combination and link up and with Saka on the right hand side, or whoever it is in the forward line. That's what I expect from a Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno's spoken about in the same breath as these players, as your De Bruyne's and Odegaard, but he couldn't be further from it this season. He's been terrible. He's been really, really bad, in my opinion. I think he's fell off completely. So I would even start Mount over him in certain games. I know he's the captain. I know it's never going to happen. But it's like Yusuf says there, we need better decision-making from the wingers. And the 10. And Bruno as well. Do you see how many times Bruno got it in position against Liverpool in the last game and just didn't make the right decision? Or took too long playing the through ball? Tell me when I'm lying. Tell me when I'm lying. You know? Every time I do a pros and cons on our channel after the game, Bruno is in the negative side probably 75%. Majority of the time, I'm speaking about him in a negative light. You know? And he's the captain of the team. You need more from him. And the kind of people that... The thing that fans and people back him with, which I get, is, you know, he gets it, he runs for the team, he'll play when he's injured, he's got major pain threshold and all this kind of stuff. I get it, I understand it. That doesn't take away from what he doesn't do on the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? If we were to replace Bruno hypothetically, who would your replacement be? It depends what style we're playing. Because he suits a transitional style, but it depends what coach you bring in. It depends on a lot of things. I can tell you, you know, what kind of... Let's say, for example, like Chelsea when we played them, yeah. I looked at Cole Palmer, how composed he is, the eye for a pass he has. Just, his all-around game was really, really good. I like that kind of player. Do you know what I'm saying? I would like a player like that. But again, it all depends on a lot of things that's going to happen. So, I don't know. Ten Hag, in or out, I'd give him until the end of this year. I'd give him 6 months under Ineos structure, see how he does. Let him focus purely on football, and then I would make a decision. But again, then you have the situation where it could just get worse. You know what I mean? We could just stick by him, see if he gets any better, and it could just get worse, and we go back in time. So it's a tough decision for Ineos to make, I think. Marky Mark saying, come on United, in Ten Hag we trust, like, love that. Hoping to see a Harry Amas at some point. There's a lot of hype about Harry Amas, isn't it? From bits I've seen, he looked really good. Looked really, really good. So I'm interested to see. But that's, people are talking about Ten Hag there. That's something that he doesn't really get credited with. You know, the amount of youngsters he's brought through. Maybe it's, you know, sometimes because of necessity, because we don't have anyone else. But he has still promoted a lot of young players and give them time. Which at United is always important, I think, as like the ethos of the club. I always think that's important. I think he needs one more season with less injuries and more players to fit his style, at least to see. The difficulty that United fans have is just to wait the style at the minute. They can't grasp the style, and I've seen it work for periods in a game for 20 minutes, 45 minutes in first half, where it's been really effective and we've had so many turnovers, but the players just haven't finished the chances. But I've also seen it in games where it's just been so open. 31 shots conceded against Brentford when you're Man United. That is criminal. No shots in the first half against Liverpool is almost a sackable offence in itself. Yeah, disgraceful. Is Antony injured? Yeah, he is, mate. I just don't understand how we can have so many injuries, our players being rushed back. It's muscle injuries. So, one, it's the case that the medical staff don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. Two, it's the style of football that we're playing. It's very aggressive. It requires a lot of work. It's chaotic. Muscle injuries are a part of that. Also, the training as well is relentless. So that is a huge part of it. But also, the players aren't... Like Casemiro, for example, doesn't fit this system. Casemiro, you put him in a possession-based team. Let's say you send him into Italy, right? You put him in a Juventus side. I don't know how Juventus play currently because I don't watch them week in, week out. But let's say it's Juventus side, quite pragmatic, keep hold of the ball. Casemiro will probably be all right. He'll probably be a decent addition to him. But in this transitional, I don't even want to call it high press because they don't press in unison, just kind of chaotic, scattered team. He looks really exposed. I do think his legs have fell off as well, and I think he's on the decline. But I don't think the system helps him either. It's the ex-Arsenal doctor. Probably, if you want to go down conspiracy road, it's Gary O'Driscoll in it, like this geezer. United don't play aggressive. They do and they don't. You call that style aggressive? Come on, mate. No, you're taking... I'm saying it's aggressive in terms of... Maybe aggressive is the wrong descriptive word to use. It's chaotic, innit? It's not aggressive, it's chaotic. The press isn't aggressive. Some of the players like Rasmus presses aggressively. Garnacho presses aggressively and works hard tires there. Marcus Rashford on the other side doesn't. So I get that side of it, but I'm just saying it's chaotic, it's madness, it's all over the shop, innit? For anyone who's watched us this season, it's fucking really weird. I see Wrexham have been promoted today. Have they? Interesting. Ryan Reynolds will be happy, won't he? Those front three and mids can't even press. The wing backs can't. One of the main issues with us is the wing backs don't commit to the press. So watch the Brentford game, for example. Garnacho goes to press, just dink it over to the left back. Cut through it straight away. You need everyone as a collective pressing together. Yeah? I don't even have my UEFA badges, and you can see that. A casual fan can see that, which is a big problem. Big problem. Right, let's see if there's any further updates, because people will be speaking to the manager. The first goal is always hugely important. When you get the first goal and then you continue good focus, then life can be easier. You see from Autumn, we couldn't score. From the last game in December, I think we scored in every game, and also now we have a number in every game. Do you remember that? In December? God, do you remember that? We couldn't score a goal. It's awful. Yeah. Couple more comments there. Let me just see what the other results are in the league. They all finished, yeah. City finished 5-1. Brentford finished 2-0. Who scored for City? Own goal, Kovacic, Haaland, Doku, Gavadio. 90 plus 3. So City go back to the top. Arsenal play Villa tomorrow. I don't know who Liverpool play. We're in 7th on 49 points. If we win, we go up to 52 points. 8 points behind Tottenham. And possibly 8 points behind Villa with a game in hand as well. So, yeah. Right. I think I'm going to leave it at that because the game kicks off in 15 minutes. So, yeah, make sure you come and join us for the live reaction after the game. Will be live straight away. Me, Adam, Dan and Sam will be discussing it in full, and you don't want to miss that. So come and subscribe to Real Reds Talk. The link is in the description if you like football content, Man United content, analysis, all that jazz. Subscribe to Real Reds Talk, smash a like on the video, and I will see you guys after the game, hopefully, if you decide to come and join us, yeah? So hopefully we smash it up the fucking Reds. Let's see what happens. Take care, everyone, in